Daniel Brooks wiped the grease from his hands as the last customer drove away from his small neighborhood repair shop. Since losing his wife 6 years earlier, every spare moment outside the garage belonged to his 8-year-old daughter, Ava. The little office in the corner was filled with her drawings, school trophies, and the toy cars she insisted on displaying beside real engine parts. Late that afternoon, the quiet was interrupted by the unmistakable sound of a tow truck. A sleek Italian sports car rolled into the shop. Stepping out behind it was Victoria Lawson, the confident CEO of a luxury fashion company. She was known for her sharp wit, expensive taste, and refusal to trust just any mechanic with her prized collection of cars. She glanced around Daniel's modest garage. "This is the place?" The tow truck driver nodded. "They say he's the best." Victoria smiled playfully. "Well, if you fix it today," she teased, "I'll kiss you." The mechanics working nearby burst into laughter. Daniel smiled politely but didn't react. "I'd rather fix your car," he replied. That answer made Victoria laugh. "Fair enough." She explained that the sports car had suddenly stalled on the highway. 2 dealerships had already suggested replacing major electronic modules at an enormous cost, but none could guarantee the repair would solve the problem. Daniel listened carefully. Instead of opening a diagnostic laptop first, he asked a few simple questions. When did it happen? After refueling. Did the engine lose power gradually? No. It shut off almost instantly. Daniel nodded thoughtfully. He removed the fuel cap, took a small sample, and examined it closely. Then he looked toward the tow truck driver. Which station did she use? Within minutes, Daniel drained part of the fuel system. Mixed in with the gasoline was contaminated fuel containing water. The expensive electronic components had never been the problem. After cleaning the fuel lines and replacing a small fuel filter that cost less than $20, Daniel climbed into the driver's seat. Victoria folded her arms. "You're that confident?" Daniel smiled. "I think so." He inserted the key. The mechanics gathered around. Victoria watched closely. Daniel turned the key. The engine roared to life instantly, settling into a perfectly smooth idle. The entire workshop fell silent. Victoria stared at the dashboard. No warning lights. No hesitation. No strange noises. She slowly looked back at Daniel. "You're telling me all it needed was clean fuel and a small filter?" Daniel nodded. Sometimes the biggest problems start with the smallest things. Victoria shook her head in disbelief. Then she smiled mischievously. "Well, I did make a promise." She took one step toward Daniel. But before anyone could say another word, a little voice echoed from the office. "Daddy!" Everyone turned. Ava came running out of the office carrying a handmade Father's Day card. She stopped when she saw Victoria standing only a few feet from her father. Then she looked at Victoria. Looked at Daniel. And innocently asked a question that made the entire garage freeze. The garage fell completely silent. Victoria stopped in her tracks. Daniel looked toward his daughter. Ava tilted her head innocently. "Daddy." She pointed at Victoria. "Is she the customer who said she wanted to kiss you?" One of the mechanics accidentally dropped a wrench. Another quickly turned away to hide his laughter. Daniel rubbed the back of his neck, clearly embarrassed. "It was just a joke, sweetheart." Ava looked at Victoria. "Was it?" Victoria couldn't help smiling. "Yes," she admitted. "I was teasing your dad because I didn't think anyone could fix my car." Ava looked proudly at Daniel. "My dad fixes everything." The simple confidence in her voice made everyone smile. Victoria knelt to Ava's height. "He certainly proved me wrong today." Ava handed Daniel the colorful Father's Day card she had been making in the office. The front read in large, uneven letters. "My dad is my hero." Daniel's eyes became watery. He hugged his daughter tightly. "Thank you, sweetheart." Victoria watched quietly. She had attended board meetings worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She had received business awards from around the world. Yet somehow this small moment between a father and daughter meant more than any of them. She slowly stood. "Well," she said with a smile, "I guess a promise is a promise." Daniel laughed. "You really don't have to." "I know." She thought for a second. "May I make a different promise instead?" Daniel nodded. Victoria turned to Ava. "How about I take both of you out for ice cream to celebrate your dad saving my car?" Ava's face lit up. "Really?" Victoria smiled. "If your dad says yes." Daniel looked at his excited daughter. He laughed. "I don't think I have much choice." That evening, the three of them sat at a small neighborhood ice cream shop. For the first time in a long while, Victoria wasn't talking about profits, shareholders, or company strategy. She was listening to Ava explain why chocolate chip cookie dough was obviously the greatest flavor ever invented. Daniel simply smiled. Months passed. Victoria found more reasons to visit the garage. Sometimes it was for routine maintenance. Sometimes it was simply to say hello. Over time, friendship replaced playful teasing. Friendship slowly became something deeper. One afternoon, Ava looked at Victoria and whispered. "You know." "What?" "You never kissed my dad." Daniel nearly choked on his coffee. Victoria burst into laughter. "No," she said, smiling at Daniel. "I didn't." Ava grinned. "But I think you like him anyway."